Hey there guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a January plan with me. So let's get started. I've already outlined pretty much everything on this page. My title page is always my favorite page, so I put in a little bit more effort into this page than I do all my other pages, but that's okay. My theme this month is going to be blue snowflakes. And I am just going to go ahead and start by doing a nice classic snowflake theme across my title page. So I've kind of drawn out like in the areas where I want it to look like it's snowing, so it's kind of going diagonally across the page. I've got a mix of large snowflakes and small snowflakes. The large ones, I'm actually making them a little bit more individualistic because you know that not every single snowflake is the same. They are all unique. So I've done a variety of large snowflakes, and then I'm gonna go in and fill in some smaller ones. I've kind of marked the smaller ones where I want to put them on the page already, but I've really gone out in detail and drawn out the bigger snowflakes in pencil just so I make sure I know what I'm doing. I wasn't too confident in my ability to freehand snowflakes, so that's why I went ahead and did them early on, just because I wanted them to turn out nice and not mess them up when I was doing them for real. If you're thinking, man, I really love this design, but I have no idea how to draw a snowflake, check out Pinterest. Honestly, Pinterest was my best friend for this. I used snowflakes from a variety of different pins that I found. I just picked up the ones that I liked and went ahead and used those. But if you are really good at drawing freehand, then go ahead and do whatever you want. This is a great time to experiment, to play around. It does not have to be perfect. I just love my title page. I'm using a Micron 05 size pen to draw these. I absolutely love this pen because it does not smear, which is great for when you're drawing stuff or writing anything on your pages and you happen to put your hand over top of it and you smear it or something like that. It does not happen with this pen. That's why I love it so much. So I highly recommend grabbing one of those. So once I have finished my large snowflakes, I went ahead and put in some tiny ones around the big ones, and then I am just erasing all of the little pencil marks that I left on there, aside from my major outline of where I want my snow swirl to be. I'm taking a Tombow and coloring in the snowflakes just a little bit to add a little hint of color to it. And afterwards, I'm going in and drawing really little tiny snowflakes everywhere else. So I'm using my Micron again to just draw some circles. Some of them are filled in and some of them are not filled in, and I will go in later with my Tombows and color them in to add a little bit more color. But this is really what pulls that snow swirl look together, because you're adding in that little bit of extra something just in the areas that you want it to be, and that makes it look like you've got a nice snow flurry going around, and that is how I got that really full snow effect from that. So I made some really tiny dots along with the littler dots that I made. Yes, we're talking about many different sizes here, but the really tiny ones are kind of what filled in that extra gap and marked where my snow swirl was going to be on my page. I absolutely loved how this page turned out. It turned out way better than I expected. I'm very proud of it. But then lastly, after I fill in that last little bit of color onto my snowflakes, I'm just gonna erase where I marked my snow swirl to be, and then I will be finished with the page and we'll be moving on to our next page, which is going to be the monthly outlook. So I am still using the same spread that I've done for my monthly outlook for the past couple of months. I still cannot get enough of it. I love it so much. It's so simplistic, minimalistic, and it gets across what I need. I can see what's going on for the month, and I absolutely love it. So I start by outlining the outer corners of my calendar, and then I'm gonna go ahead and fill in the calendar with Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, to mark the days, and then with the actual dates. And then from there, I'm able to circle or highlight those dates depending on what's going on. I did go ahead and outline with a pencil the title for this page just so I made sure and got it lined up fairly centered. That's the only thing with my cursive. I am pretty good with this type of cursive, but I usually can't get it centered very well on the page, and I don't want to mess that up on the first go round, so I go ahead and mark it out real quick just so I have an idea of where each letter needs to be, and then I can get it nicely centered on the page. So the next thing I'm going to do is mark down the dates on the bottom of the page, and then I can write in whatever's going on the date that I either circled or highlighted, just so I can remember what's going on. I really like the visualization of circling or highlighting the dates, but then if I don't know what's going on, then it's not that helpful. So I leave a little note at the bottom just to tell me what was going on that date so I can remember. This month, I know that we have plans. I am just so very uncertain with when they are all going to happen. A lot of things are still up in the air, so the only day that I know I actually have something is the 16th, so I'm going to go ahead and mark that down now just so I remember, and then later I'm going to go back and fill it in when I've got my plans finalized. So the next spread is the highlight spread of the month. I'm doing my 2021 goals. With this month being a brand new year, I am going to be focusing a lot on my goals this month. I am not one to usually write down my goals or to visualize what I'm going to do, but I've recently been learning that the more you write things down and visualize your goals, the more likely they are to happen because they're in front of you, you're remembering them, and you're working towards them constantly. So this month I wanted to include a spread that allowed me to write down my goals, to journal about them just a little bit. I'm starting with my very number one main goal. So this is really what I want to focus on during 2021. I am still kind of planning what my main goal is, so I'm not going to fill in this page quite yet. I want to think about it a little bit, maybe save it for, the day before New Year's or something like that. But I'm going to focus on one main goal. And then I also want to journal 2 smaller goals that align with my main goal. So maybe something that I can break down my main goal a little bit farther into that would help me along with my main goal. If you're thinking about doing some big goal, you can't always do everything in one shot, right? So this is a way to pick out some different smaller goals that you might have aligning with your number one main goal, and you can work on those along the way. I have always been so bad at journaling my goals or writing them down, and this year I'm really going to make an effort to write them down and think about them a little bit more. I've also included a spot for a bucket list. Now this is something that I have not spent a lot of time doing ever before. I have never wrote down a bucket list ever, but I really wanted to take some time to dream a little bit, to put some ideas out there that I might want to do this year, something practical, something maybe not so practical, who knows, but I want to at least write about them and think about what I want to be doing. Lastly, for this page, I'm just adding a couple extra snowflakes in. Some of them are repeats from my first page, but for the most part they're just small ones to take up a little bit of space and to keep along with that snow theme that I've got going. If you noticed on this page, I did add some snow effect along the top and bottom borders of my blocks just to make it look like it was snowing. January's always got me in this snowy mood. I don't know about you. I've always got snowflakes stuck in my head in January. It's a blue month to me when I visualize it, so that's why I went with blue snowflakes. I'm again going in with my Tombow just on the corners to add a little bit of color to my snowflakes and to finish out the page. And then the next page is going to be a fun page. I'm gonna do a movie log for this year. So recently, Sean and I started really sitting down and watching a lot more movies than I've ever watched before. I am not a movie person. I don't necessarily think that I don't enjoy movies, it's just that I don't ever watch them. I don't know if I don't think my attention span's long enough or if I just don't want to do it, but when I'm with other people, I tend to watch a lot more movies, and I like it. It's fun. So Sean and I have been going through all the Avengers movies. I'm behind. I didn't know what happened, but now I do. But I thought it'd be fun, if we're gonna keep up the movie tradition, to go ahead and make a log of all the movies we're watching this year. This is a super simple, cute log page, really easy. I just included a space for a title, the date that I watched it, and then I'm gonna give it a rating like 1 to 5 stars. Just super simple to look back on the next year. Then lastly, I always include a spot for daily journaling. I've recently started to do a lot more daily journaling. I'm trying to be good about writing down things that are going on, things that I'm feeling, things like that. And while I love planning things out in my bullet journal, I've found that I really like online planners a little bit better, so I'm turning my bullet journal into a real journal. I am taking some time each night before I go to bed to write down 3 great things that happened, and then 1 thing that I'm looking forward to tomorrow. It just keeps me in the positive mindset, makes me think about things that I'm looking forward to rather than things that I don't want to do or anything like that. It really keeps me motivated a lot more, and I find myself a lot more happy when I do it. So I am leaving myself space to that every single day. And then along with that, this month I've decided to incorporate my habit tracker and my mood tracker into the same space. I have been doing this kind of long block space to do my journaling in, but I've realized I don't really need all that space, so I kind of want to merge things together into one space, so I'm maximizing the usage of my bullet journal. So I'm taking a corner in each of the spaces each day to make a spot for me to put my mood. That's the kind of longer block that I'm putting at the top. And I put a mood key up top, which was 1 mood for tired and 1 mood for great. I realized when I was tracking my mood that there was only really 2 moods that I wanted to be tracking, plus for the most part, I was in a pretty good mood. So I now want to be tracking whether or not I feel tired, because something else I'm working on is my sleep. So this will tell me a little bit more about if I'm sleeping enough, if I need to change something with my sleep cycle or something like that, rather than just tracking my mood itself. I'm also adding in a space for my habit tracker, which is the 3 blocks on the side, and then I'm just going to check it off if I've done it that day or not. My 3 habits that I'm looking at are when I'm going to bed, if I'm having tea before bed, and if I'm journaling before bed, because those are the 3 things that I really want to try to nail down this month and make habits. So after adding just a little bit more color to my page by outlining the bottom of my trackers, I am finished with my bullet journal. So we'll give a quick flip through to see what it all looks like together, and I absolutely love it so much. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and thank you for watching!